evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Angry Cast in Stardew Valley. How y'all doing? It is now week 4 of fall, year 2, and we have accomplished a lot at the end of the season. We fully upgraded the house, got the Galaxy Sword, got the Dwarf Translation Guide, and we grew a large crop. Now, I know that doesn't seem like much, but trust me, it is. It's things I have wanted to accomplish, and this week we're going to do more. Now, as I said last time, I am not going to be focusing on bulletin board quests or other things that happen around the town unless I have nothing else better to do and those specific items align with what my goals are. I've got other plans, and I will be spending year 3 pursuing the relationship aspect of Stardew Valley, but it's really time that we decide where we want to specialize. Now, the thing about Stardew Valley is that it gives you all these different options for how to achieve your goals. But those goals aren't exactly spelled out in black and white. Are you just looking to make insane amounts of money on your farm? Are you going to be an adventurer? Do you want to just honor your family name and restore the farm to its greatness that Grandpa had? You know, you find a better life than working in this dead-end cubicle, but it's entirely open to interpretation. You don't even have to grow a single crop if you don't want. You don't have to kill a single monster. You don't have to get married or raise animals or do any of the other things specifically. You could spend the entirety of your in-game life just clearing forageable items and slowly building an empire out of fiber and clamshells. The thing to remember, though, is it is your life. You chose to leave that dead-end cubicle farm and take on Grandpa's farm. From there, it's entirely up to you. There's no right or wrong answer on how to play the game. And that's probably where a lot of people get frustrated, as have I. I spent a good month or two trying to do every little thing around me. Do all the quests, help all the people, win all the challenges, grow all the food, and yet here I am with chests upon chests of food that I have yet to use for anything substantial. What have I been doing for the last 2 years? I've been building up all of these things you can do in order to go in a specific direction, and even I don't know what that is. And there's even downloadable content for the different types of farms to explore those different types of paths. One is geared more towards adventuring, one's geared, with very little space to farm. One's geared more towards using the quarry. There's all types of ideas that we haven't even explored yet. Now, I still plan on doing a lot of those things on different branches of the game. There are still other legendary fish out there, and there are still quotas to fill at the Adventurers Guild. I'm not going to give up on those things, but I've sort of shifted the priorities of how they will be affected by me. But at some point, just like the bulletin board quests, other things will fall to the wayside. I will probably choose an ultimate path, and I think I want to specialize in the artisan goods like wine and other things. We've talked about this. But I am still working my way towards that goal by doing these other things. The plan I keep talking about is the path I am taking towards that goal. Now, I've seen layouts of farms that utilize all the given space, and it's insane to think that I could keep up with all of that on my own. There's just simply too many things to do in one day. You probably would have to do an insane amount of planning and math to figure out what crops to plant where in order to get to that spot on a specific day and keep track of what those days are. Now, I'm granted, there are some people that is what they want to do. They want to have that level of control over what they plant on that farm, and that's fine. I just simply do not have that much attention to detail, nor do I have that much ambition. Now, having a spouse in the game helps you around the farm, and it's a small benefit, but starting a family is a goal or achievement in the game just like any others. Other than that, they serve no other purpose than to fulfill that RPG element to the game. Kids, I've heard, are sometimes more of an obstacle than a help. They get in the way of when you're in the house. They block entrances and exits. The cat's been doing that to me every time I'd come in at like 11:30, 12:30 at night and couldn't get in to the bed. And with that insane farm layout, the amount of planting I would have to do on day 2 or day 1 would almost not be worth it. So I probably won't build some extravagant farm just because I don't have the desire to do all that planning and building. I would spend quality time on placing and spacing all of the decorations and probably miss out on important items. From sun up to sundown, I would be spend more time fixing things around the farm than actually playing the game. After all, it only took me what? How many episodes to figure out that I could use coffee as a way to speed run through the boring stuff in order to save on recording time? Sometimes I think it would almost be worth to take a single year, starting in the preceding winter, and plan out this maxed out ancient fruit operation. By spring day 2, have every spot filled, possibly filled, possible planting spots on the farm filled, so that it could grow over the course of the entire spring and then start producing every 7 days for the summer and the fall. But what do you do for that entire spring season? Forage, use the greenhouse, adventure? I mean, what else would there be to do? And for as long as it takes to do a single day, let alone an entire season, that would be a lot of wasted playtime. And then, after you harvest the entire summer and fall, it would then take another few seasons, probably another year, to turn all of that wine, or I'll turn all of those fruits into wine, and then put those wine into the casks in your basement to age them for maximum profit. I'd probably just rather watch somebody else do it, which is probably kind of funny me saying that because that would be why you're watching me play. Now, as you will see, I did manage to get a very lucky day in the course of events of this week, and I reached level 25 of Skull Cavern. In fact, the funny thing is that I completed that on that day, went back to the house at like 11:30 at night, and checked on the quest in my journal, and the game crashed. I lost the entire day in that achievement of getting through the Skull Cavern. It was kind of upsetting. And then I went back and played the game again from that same day, starting over, trying to be more efficient and get even farther, and I did even worse. It took like 2 or 3 tries to get back to that point to actually achieve level 25 again. Even though that there's nothing had changed with the entire day as far as the luck went from the fortune teller, still had very good luck. It still caused me so much trouble that I had to keep restarting the game like 2 or 3 times. Now, there are more of those chi or key quests, and we're going to do them, and probably sometime during the winter or maybe even next year. But for now, we're going to keep working on this plan and move towards getting ready for the winter and year 3. Now, I do want to say that because winter is going to be such a slow, arduous season, I've already completed the one main task I wanted to wait for to getting to go through and use all winter, and I can't plant anything, so there's not going to do anything else but going through the greenhouse and getting things ready to have all of that ancient fruit. I'm going to probably take a break and at some point start collecting clips all from the entirety of the winter season and try to put together one episode that covers the entire season instead of these weekly events. And that may be where we are headed as we go on. Or this might be one of the last few episodes we do, just because we're getting to the point where we're just repeating ourselves. And that's part of the problems with the game, is that you just keep repeating things over and over again. There are a good chunk of things that you have to get from point A to point B to point C that you can't do right at the beginning. You have to upgrade your stuff. You have to, learn different recipes. You have to access different areas. And we haven't even gotten to the part where the console version is now aligned with the PC version. There's a new update that came out that involves multiplayer. So I'm already now going to be behind the 8 ball as far as being relevant with the content. And also, being that the game's a lot older, I'm already behind. I started out behind the 8 ball. Also, on top of that, there's a new feature in the PC version that involves a submarine and the night market in winter. As you see, when we go through winter, we're not going to have that feature because we're not playing on PC. We're playing on console. So we are going to be forced to be relying on what we have in front of us, and I don't think there's enough content to squeeze out of winter to make it more than one video. I'm going to spend all the time clearing the farm, preparing it for other things. I'm going to spend the time getting the greenhouse ready. I'm going to spend the time marking a lot of things down on a notepad for me to work off of for the next year. And I guess at the start of spring, there's a big event that happens that sort of makes it so that you can sort of alleviate the issue of having to get a lot of iridium from the Skull Cavern. I'm going to keep trying to go down to Skull Cavern every so often to find, on a very lucky day, to get more iridium to upgrade things and to make the sprinklers to max out the amount of ancient fruit and star fruit that I can plant in the greenhouse so that I can keep working on the casks. As you can see, I've been building casks up and putting them in the basement for other things and just loading them with different items just to get a sense of what is going to be profitable for me. We know that cheeses and from the goat and the cow milk are pretty profitable once you've aged them. We know you can get really good quality from putting them in the casks. We know that star fruit and ancient fruit are really the best way to make money, especially when you have the other perks. But how, what's the frequency of turning over that profit? That's going to be something that we have to work out. I've been reading a post upon post from Steam and from everywhere else that talks about what's the best thing to plant, how to plant it, how, time over, profit over time versus profit now. With the different items, how much time do you want to spend to doing things? Do you want to work a lot to make a lot of money? Do you want to just put things in a cask and let it sit forever and then just cash in it at the end? We want to get all the things from the wizard's, shop. We want to get the catalog. We want to do other things that are going to be there. And I may do little itty bitty videos here and there for that, but I'm not going to spend a great amount of time putting together a huge video once a week because I just don't have time for that. And there's not enough content to squeeze into one video. It becomes more of an effort for me to edit these things than it does for me to just record and post. So there's where we are for the end of spring, or the end of winter, or fall. I can't even get it out right. But we're gonna, finish it all off, and we will come back eventually. So don't abandon the quest yet. We're getting there, but we will take a little break, and we will come back, and hopefully I'll have something good for you in this next video that won't take too long, and will be sort of more exciting than watching me just sit there and talk and putz around the farm. So I want to thank you all for watching. You have a good night. Bye bye.